It's time for another film room, and I'm Brian Johannes. And on this episode, we're going to take a look at Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons. Here's a prospect that a lot of people have been very excited for. He had a tremendous sophomore season going into his junior year. Now he chose to opt out because of COVID reasons. Can't blame him for that. So we didn't get to see him in 2020. But I went back. I watched 4 different games from his 2019 tape, and I can't wait to show you what I saw and what type of prospect he is. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. All right, when we look at Micah Parsons, the first thing we notice is that he's just got the ability to go out and make plays. Here, he's able to swim through and get a sack on the quarterback. He's got this athletic ability. He's got this playmaking sense that you can line him up, and he's going to go out and make these tackles and just make these plays. You know, here's an example. He's out going to cover this tight end right here, get his hand in there to break up the pass. So Parsons shows that he can attack, he can play in coverage, and just his combination of athletic ability and just size, he is a player that a lot of people are excited for, and someone that is projected to be a high pick. But when I was watching Parsons, there was something that really stood out, that really raised some red flags. And I'm going to highlight that here. Too often, when Micah Parsons has to read and react, he has some hesitation. He has some pause that causes him to fail to make some plays. For example, on this play, he's lined up over here on the left-hand side. They're going to give a handoff right here. So Parsons, you would think, is responsible for maybe these gaps or what, but he's not going to be responsible for the quarterback heading off to his right. But after this handoff, he has to hesitate, and then it causes him not to be able to go out and make that play. We see that here against Iowa as well. They're going to run a handoff to his right, and he has that slight hesitation that causes him to kind of get caught up in traffic. And here against Buffalo, they're going to run away from him, and he just has this hesitation. He just doesn't turn it loose, and he's not able to make a play that you would have thought he was able to. And once again, another play against Buffalo where he just kind of maybe it's Buffalo, he just doesn't seem to really kind of let it turn loose and let it go. And that hesitation, that lack of instincts per se, you see that a lot show up when he's asked to kind of move laterally and read and react. But when he's got a defined read, when he's got a defined this is where you go, this is where he has his best success. You see here, he's able to get in and make a decisive run at the quarterback. You know, it's no hesitation. He just knows I'm blitzing, makes the move, and goes and gets that quarterback hit. And on this play, he's just able to see and then go. And once again, he didn't have that hesitation. He didn't have that because it's like, hey, I've got this defined read. Here's this guy. Boom, I'm going to go get him and make the tackle. Then against Iowa, once again, it's a blitz. He's able to blitz off the edge, turn the corner, or turn around there and get that quarterback hit. And I know a lot of these clips that I'm showing you of him being decisive are him blitzing. But that's kind of the point. When he's got that defined read, he knows where to go. That's where you get to see him turn it loose and show that athleticism. When he has to kind of sit there and read and react, that's when he's slower. He doesn't turn it loose. He kind of hesitates, and it causes him not to make plays. Now, one thing to kind of keep an open mind about is when you project where is Micah Parsons the best fit for in the NFL. One thing I noticed is when he lined up on the edge, not necessarily as a stacked linebacker, but maybe as an edge linebacker, he was very productive. On this play, he's going to have this tight end try to block him, and he's able to kind of just dip inside, go in, and make this tackle for a loss. Hey, once again, he doesn't really have to think much. Just dip that shoulder, see where the ball's at, and go attack it. Same thing here against Buffalo. The ball's going to go to his right. He just make a quick move, get into the backfield, and make that tackle. And then here against Buffalo, he's able to come in and then redirect. Once again, using his athleticism. You see his athleticism shine a lot when he's lined up on this edge because he doesn't have to have this recognition type skills. He's able just to play and react to where the ball is. And when you see that one more time here against Buffalo, just once again coming off the edge, just redirecting, going and getting a quarterback hit, forcing an incompletion. So after all these games that I've seen of Micah Parsons, he's got a lot of talent. His athleticism combined with his physicality, and he's a good player. However, the thing that really kind of makes me pause on going all on him as this elite NFL draft prospect is when that those instincts, those hesitation when he has to read and react. I recently saw someone compare him. He's the best linebacker we've seen since Luke Kuechly. And so when I see Luke Kuechly, I instantly think of instincts. And him and Micah Parsons, there's a big drop-off for that. And I think Parsons could develop into an elite NFL stacked linebacker, but I think where he goes and what they have him do is very interesting. And as I pointed out there at the end, I wonder if putting him on the edge initially as a linebacker would not be a bad idea. When Micah Parsons was coming into college football, when he was a recruit, a lot of teams were recruiting him to be an edge pass rusher. I know Nebraska was one of the teams that was really high on him, and they were looking at him to be a 3-4 outside linebacker. And a lot of the schools that he looked at, they were seeing him as that 3-4 outside linebacker. He goes to Penn State, they move him inside, and he's had success. But you have to wonder, you got to put him in a position where he can just go and make plays. You don't have to think about it. And if you try to line him up as an inside linebacker and making the calls and doing those reads, I think he could have some struggles initially. So it'll be kind of curious to see where he goes. I still think he's a talented prospect, but I have him down a little bit further. He's not a top 10 prospect for me. I have him kind of as in that 15 range. Things could change, but through 5 games already, I'm seeing the same thing over and over. And maybe I'm wrong on him. I'll gladly admit if I am. But I'm just not seeing this instinctive player, and maybe I'm over-evaluating that, but that's what I want out of my inside linebackers. I want guys that can read and be in the right place. And you see those top inside linebackers, they're able to do that. Now, maybe he goes to a system where they can just use this athleticism and they just tell him just watch the ball and just turn it loose, and he has success. And I hope so, because he can make plays, and he's a fantastic player. But to me, I have him a step behind that elite. I think he's still talented. I still think he's a first-round pick. I just don't know if I would take him in the top 10, and that's also because I don't like taking linebackers, true off-the-ball linebackers. He's 6'3", he's 244 pounds. His sophomore year, he had 109 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 5 sacks. Maybe the best fit for him, maybe I'm crazy for thinking this, is maybe making him a outside linebacker in a 4-3 under type defense. You look at what Denver did with Von Miller when Jack Del Rio was the defensive coordinator. You look at what Seattle's done with like Bruce Irving. Those guys are, they're still a traditional linebacker, but they're played more on the strong side by that tight end, and then they kind of use them, to set that edge. They can run. He's a good blitzer. He's a good pass rusher, so maybe you utilize that. When I watched him, especially when on the edge, I got some Khalil Mack vibes. And when I went in and looked at Khalil Mack when he was coming out of Buffalo, Khalil Mack was 6'3", 250 pounds. Now Khalil Mack now is 6'3", 270 pounds, and he's one of the better linebackers in the NFL. But when Micah Parsons right now is only 6 pounds off of him. And so do I think he's going to be a Khalil Mack type player? No. But he's a big athletic dude. So maybe using him more as a rusher in rushing situations. He showed I didn't highlight any clips, but he wasn't a guy that was used in coverage that often. He didn't really seem to have a good feel for it. So maybe he's a guy that you kind of do line up on the edge. You do kind of line up and just use athleticism, and then you use him more as a blitzer in the NFL. So he'll be a fascinating player to see at the Combine. He's going to test well. I can't wait to see which NFL team picks him, and where they end up putting him. That's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of the Film Room. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think, whether I'm right or I'm wrong, or I'm crazy for whatever. But while you're there, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on social media, whether it's Twitter at @draft_Brian, whether it's at Instagram at draft_Brian. And as I said before, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. Until next time.